So welcome. Thank you for taking time to view this brief video on Google Classroom and grading. Exciting topics. My name is Marcia, and it's my privilege to serve as the LMC STEP Director. So welcome to STEP. STEP stands for Study and Training for Effective Pastoral Ministry. It's a guided practicum in ministry leadership. STEP is a 3-year program with students meeting in cohorts one Saturday each month during the academic year, and between meetings they complete readings, assignments, and apply what they're learning to their ministry context. Each year includes instruction organized into one of 3 courses: pastoral topics, pastoral skills, and pastoral formation. And upon successful completion of the program, STEP graduates can earn up to 30 undergrad credits from Eastern Mennonite University, and they also receive a certificate of ministry from LMC. Just a little bit of history. STEP began in 2004, and as of 2021, more than 150 students have graduated from the program. These graduates are now serving as pastors, bishops, worship leaders, youth leaders, STEP instructors, and in a variety of other ministry roles. A key strength of the STEP program is qualified and committed instructors just like you, who are willing to share their expertise and experience with these emerging and growing leaders. So thank you. Thank you for being part of this STEP team to train, equip, and encourage new leaders. By now, you should have received the textbooks for your class and a copy of the lesson plans for your particular class or classes that you're teaching. If you haven't, please let me know, and I'll make sure to get those to you. In order to prepare for the class that you're teaching, we suggest that you open your lesson plans and locate the session objectives. Look at the related student assignments and session activities. The session objectives are the key outcomes that you should plan to include in your class time. Your attention to these objectives ensures that the students are receiving the intended experience from their time in STEP. The session activities are suggestions. These are ways that you might want to work to achieve these objectives. And so as an instructor, you have flexibility with these activities, and you can adapt them to meet the needs of your students as well as your teaching style. Generally speaking, STEP students particularly appreciate active learning, such as class discussion, practical application, small group reflection, perhaps include a video or something like that. Instructors are welcome to make the material their own as long as you meet the course objectives. So go ahead and talk to me if you want to introduce any new readings or new materials or have questions about that. Next, let's look at the related student assignments. This list tells you what assignments you should anticipate and be ready to grade as part of your teaching. You might even find it helpful to go ahead and view these assignments prior to teaching so you know what's been asked of the students and what questions that they might be bringing to your time together. One of the things that some STEP instructors do that they find helpful is that they will go in and start to grade the assignments prior to class. This way they have additional information about things that students might have questions about or what they're struggling with, and then you can tailor your instruction to address some of those questions. So in order to view the assignments, what you're going to want to do is you'll need to access Google Classroom. And so to get started, make sure that you're logged into your STEP Google account. And this account will be labeled with your first initial, last name, STEP, at lmcchurches.org. And so at the top right of your computer screen, use the little square of 9 dots, which helps you access the apps, and scroll down until you find the app labeled Classroom. Once you click on Classes, you should see your particular class, which will also have your name on it. So You might want to look for one that's labeled, if you're teaching in year 1, you want to look for year 1. Year 2 instructors will look under year 2, etc. So once you click on that, this will open to Stream. And this is a place where you can find announcements and other information. Look at the top of that page to find classwork. So click on classwork and then scroll down to reach your session number, and this is where you'll find your name. Each of these will have a title that will say skills, topics, or formation, and you might even have assignments in more than one category. So scroll the whole way up and down through the classwork each time. Once you click on an assignment, then you can click on the thumbnail to open it and begin to look at that particular assignment. One idea that you might want to consider is just bookmark that page in your browser so you can easily get back to it. Be aware that time moves very quickly when you're teaching in STEP. While you're responsible to meet the objectives, you're also encouraged to remain flexible to student questions and current student needs. I feel strongly that your care for the students and your willingness to support them in their current ministry context is just as important as any material that you're going to share. And so a balance of planning and flexibility will work together to create a strong learning environment. I also want to encourage you to be aware of group dynamics and keep in mind that some students process verbally and others process internally. And so make space for all students to share, because that's going to be beneficial to the entire learning process for the cohort. Also, keep in mind that though your class will likely only last for 1 or 2 hours, the students are in class all day, as you'll see on the schedule. So be mindful to give breaks if you see that they're getting restless, or just even allow them to stand up. Just to change their position will be helpful. If you have questions about what to cover or how much time to spend on a topic, let's talk about it. I'd be glad to sit with you and have that conversation. Now we move on to the important and exciting topic of grading. Grading is an important part of the teaching process, and so we're going to take a minute to review the logistics, but first a couple key points. When it comes to assigning a number grade, we're asking that you focus on 3 things: completion, comprehension, and engagement. So, did the students complete the assignment as directed? Did they demonstrate an understanding of the material and grasp the concepts? Did they engage well with the assignment? Were they able to apply the learning in ways that will further their own formation and ministry? So while a certain level of effort and professionalism is expected in the assignments, we do not spend a lot of time correcting grammar or sentence structure. That has not been a high priority for STEP grading. STEP students are typically juggling employment, family demands, and ministry responsibilities in addition to their schoolwork. Also keep in mind that for some students, English is their second language, and so because of that, students may sometimes submit work late. The STEP program has the following suggestions for grade adjustments for the work. So if the work is less than 1 month late, a 10-point deduction. If it's more than 1 month but less than 2, we suggest 20 points. And if it's more than 2, there's some instructor discretion, but approximately a 30-point deduction. On-time grading is as follows. And again, let me emphasize that the focus is on completion, comprehension, and engagement. So an A student, as you would expect, is interested, they're energetic, they're regular in attendance, they participate, and they demonstrate consistent application. A B student does what is required, but they might not offer any extra, but they're regular in attendance and they participate. A C student may miss assignments. They may have limited class participation, and they may have unexplained absences. Students whose work is below 70% will likely receive no credit. But there may be occasions that you're aware of where the student is having challenging personal circumstances or ministry circumstances, and so we may need to make adjustments. So let's have that conversation, because we can make adjustments if there are extenuating circumstances. Let's talk about how to actually grade in Google Classroom. So going back to the screen where you can find your class, for example, step year 1, click on it, look at the top of the page to find classwork. Again, click on that and then scroll down till you reach your session number and your assignment with your name. Click on the assignment, and then this time click on the spot that says turned in. And that spot will have a number underneath it. This will open up the assignments that the students have already submitted. So click on one student name to open that. When you open an assignment and you're reading down through it and you say, oh, I want to comment on this, what you do is highlight the text, and then when you do that, a little plus sign will appear to the right. Click on that plus sign and a comment box will open. And so you can type in that comment box and then hit submit, and that will be returned to the student. I want you to be aware of one thing that can be confusing. Under the grading area, there's a place on the right that says private comment. Please be aware that these private comments are visible to all instructors. So they're not actually private. It's much better to actually comment where the blue plus icon is. And so I do encourage you to comment. Students really value input from instructors related to their assignments. So after you grade the assignment, you can use the arrows at the top center of the page to go to the next person's assignment and continue to repeat the process until you've finished with all the grading. Finally, then you look on the right-hand side of your computer screen, and at the top there'll be a little blue button that says return. And so you can click that return, which means that that particular assignment is being returned to the student, and then they can open it up and they can read any comments or suggestions or questions that you have left. I would like to encourage you that for maximum learning, it's really helpful if you can grade and return the assignments within 2 weeks of the class session. But it is equally critical that all grading for the entire year must be completed by the end of May each year so that we can submit grades to EMU for credit. One note is that if by the end of the school year, and hopefully you're tracking this all along, if by the end of the school year a student still has not completed an assignment, I encourage you to reach out to them and say, are you planning to complete the assignment? If they don't complete the assignment, you will need to go in and enter a 0 as their grade. Obviously, we don't like to give zeros because it really affects their GPA. Just want to let you know also that the STEP team is here to support and encourage you as you support the students. If you need assistance with handling Google Classroom, responding to student needs, any other matter, please reach out to one of us or reach out to me at mmylin@lmcchurches.org. Thanks so much for taking time to listen to this video as we talked about grading and Google Classroom. May God richly bless your efforts as you prayerfully plan, instruct, and grade. Because as you're doing so, you're furthering the LMC mission, where we encourage everyone to follow the Spirit's leading to make disciples of Jesus, mobilize missionaries, and multiply faith communities locally and beyond. God bless you.